So on this episode of Chit Chat Chat, I am going to be focusing on guiding a very important figure in my maturing consciously. And that is Dr. Jordan Peterson, who is now under the thumb of the College of Psychiatrists regarding his rhetoric and his resistance to the request given by this board to seek the help of one of their experts. I deem myself the expert in this field of Christ consciousness and helping folks just kind of realign with their religious beliefs and just kind of get back on course. As a chaplain, that is one of the sole duties of my role. Now, none of these roles that I play have certificate merit given to me by any man-made school or curriculum. This is all self-knowledge that I have attained, much like Dr. Peterson's daughter, Michaela, who on many of her podcasts, I have heard her testify that she got into her field looking for an answer to why she had this thing on her arm, which ended up being some dietary connected. I mean, I'm sure anybody who follows either of these figures will know this story. Now, a year ago, I had posted a video regarding just my concern for the great doctor's position coming to this point, where I recognize the danger in the use of his rhetoric and could see his future as if it were hindsight, as I can prove with the evidence that is presented to me today in this video, where Dr. Peterson and his daughter Michaela are interviewing each other regarding this issue and openly and candidly expressing just how they feel. So this is a great tool that I have been utilizing in my craft to help people on a broader scale. I thank the College of Psychiatrists for just putting out the flat rate of $225 an hour, in which Dr. Peterson's interview claims $250 an hour. So again, here are just some discrepancies when I see an ego, superego, and id in battle with each other. It's just these things, these simple facts, just all of a sudden get inflated or tweaked in a way. So there are many different intentions I have for this video specifically, not only for myself, for the board, and for the Peterson family, but for the world, to provide tangible evidence on what I do, what I can do, and what I offer people who seek help or need help at this point. There are many people in this world I see, especially on media, social media, our stars on social media, who are breaking the premise of Habermas discourse theory, which states that social order relies on the intersubjective validity of these stars, such as Jordan Peterson, his daughter, these influencers that we look up to as a social media culture, and try to emulate. And this is the danger that I feel, Dr. Peterson, Michaela, you are not understanding, is what is being pointed out by the COP, is that if this is the route that your career in psychiatry with your license is going to be, then this is where the COP had to make a decision and ask themselves, do we want all of our psychiatrists to be like Jordan Peterson, or let Jordan Peterson be Jordan Peterson and give up his license so that we can say this licensing is a different brand of... I don't have a name for what to call it, but we cannot call what you are doing, Dr. Peterson, as clinical psychiatric therapy unless you realize that this is your own therapy being given to you very harshly, I feel, in a sense that I may be presenting it like this.
In my social media communications.
If you saw the edit that I had
so I have to undergo a series
put up,
of
I will post the little
courses,
card here.
One-on-one coaching sessions.
Is just how I hear and judge. And I hear your daughter in this interview alone.
It's no joke, and I've known a lot of people now who've been investigated for that sort of thing.
Also, either in battle or in a way, stepping up, trying to get you to see what you can't see your professional colleague friends trying to get you to see. I caught the interview with Joe Rogan. I caught your interview with Russell Brand.
With our legal challenge before we could make any of this public.
And I caught your interview with this detransitioner, which another tip, whenever you have something and you do these quotations, that is a huge offense in its own mind. To open up an interview and say you have a guest who is a so-called detransitioner. I just right there had to say strike one. And if you cannot see that, then I'm sorry, sir, but you are a Nazi. A N-O-T-S-E-E. There are three classes of people. Those who can see which you were. You were somebody who saw amazing possibilities in Genesis that I also saw, that helped me come back from cloud nine to earth and just get a real sense of what was going on in my mind, my conscious awakening, my transcendent transfiguration is what I would call it at this point. And so at this juncture,
that's what you're doing with your life. You're probably...
I am no professional doctor. And I know you find it absolutely ridiculous for somebody like me to probably approach you and offer this kind of assistance or these kinds of words of praise or criticism, or however you may take it at whatever point in time and what point in your life this message is being received into your consciousness. But again, I have been a huge fan. You have been a father figure to me, and I stand by the testimony that I posted in the description of the video where I listed my concern, offering my hand of assistance in a very real world. I did not receive any direct indication from you, but as a scientific experiment, I did put the unseen forces, and this is where I feel that for my science, there's a lot of things that I do aside from trying to help people. I am trying to prove quantum entanglement can be untangled, and in a sense, doctor, this is what's happening to you. This is your quantum entanglement. You are now in superposition, and we are looking at it and seeing if this figurative cat is alive or dead, or if it's good or bad, or we're making a direct judgment at this point. And so I hope a man of your discipline and various knowledge in other disciplines can understand this language that I'm using to explain what we're trying to help you with. We're not trying to approach you as enemies. We are truly concerned about watching another figure, such as yourself, a great man who has contributed so many great works to awaken this conscious collective we call this source, and then not grow as the source catches up. And now that we are caught up, you are feeling threatened by the message that we give you, just saying your language is getting the world nowhere. Yes, we all have opinions on Trudeau and the trucker situation and all this and all that and all this, but when you're focusing your mind and the carrot on your stick, saying these words based on your feeling, and as you stated, you have a difficult time regulating your behavior, essentially at this point. You get erratically angry, then you come back down. We've seen you cry. I've been on that emotional roller coaster ride, and to watch a man who has a doctor license to do that again was a very uplifting, motivational moment for me to be able to say, look, even a clinical respected doctor like Jordan Peterson is like me. He can feel this pain that I feel and have it bring tears to his eyes and not be ashamed to still say this is okay for a man to do. On the opposite end, we see the Andrew Tate, toxic masculinity, where he has a different mindset, where men have to be robots and just want to control human beings and all this stuff. Again, as a fanatic of the discipline of psychiatry, I know that when people express things in this way, this is a reflection of their inner nature. This is what they would do if they were in power or control over people. I have no fear of the government trying to program me into being some kind of thing. I actually am aware that this is all basically a huge science experiment. If God were playing something, just seeing who is awake and who isn't. And you were one of the awake ones. But then the Bible says even these people, there's a saying, warn a divisive person once, then warn him again, and after that, have nothing to do with them. You are not one of these people that it is so easily just a 1, 2, 3, you're out. But it's not as easy on the opposite end to just say we can let this persist. If, in my experiment, we are going to bring in this usher of peace. Again, I am a patient, if you will, who suffers from this condition where I truly believe I am the transfigured Messiah, the return of Jesus Christ. And I thank you for being part of that. And I don't know if you take that as a compliment or not. The point is, you have had a huge impact in who I've become. And who I've become is going to be somebody who just goes around and checks people's language. Just like in Genesis chapter 11, verse 5, where the Lord came down and saw the language that everybody is speaking and said, truly, this is that everybody's speaking one language. I'm no longer going to scatter the languages. I am going to look at the scattered languages and see if I can put these pieces back together and on track to the path that you were already on, which was somebody who, I don't know, you were going into Exodus. I haven't caught these lectures on Exodus because then you steered off into this, I'm no longer that Jordan Peterson. I'm Jordan Peterson who was that Jordan Peterson talking about all these issues that are wrong, which, yes, We are all frustrated. But this level of frustration and this mode, especially from somebody on your tier, to just openly put out like I'm doing now to address Justin Trudeau. You are a man who could go sit down with Justin Trudeau and have a intelligible conversation about these ideas that would help this. But instead, your anger, your ego blocks you from approaching this man directly, and rather using this tool, which my father calls a knife. We can use this as a tool, or we can use it to really destroy someone or something. And you're destroying yourself, sir. I have seen many of my heroes just self-destruct, and you are not one of those heroes. I want to see that. And it's getting harder for me to watch this interview on any of these thumbnails that you have on these issues. If you want to be a clinical psychologist, then you got to make a choice. You cannot focus on doing this kind of stuff. If this is the route you want to do, if you want to ride that coattail respectively, then I would suggest you retire and give up your license to do this, so that you can do it freely without, like you said, disgracing and dishonoring this field that you, at points in your interview with your daughter, express and acknowledge that you have great care for. And I do believe that. And just studying your mannerisms in your interviews, that accusation from the woman who thought you spinning the ring was an indicator of you hinting at sexual intentions, I would also verify to the college that seems like an absolute fraud. I have watched his mannerisms. It seems like this is just a coping mechanism when Jordan's just kind of deep into thought. So I would, in my professional review, discredit that motive and that complaint. But the other complaints of just your rhetoric being very harmful is not as easy to just toss away. So again, Dr. Peterson, I hope that this is just a great little intro. But like I said, your daughter clearly says in the interview, if you are someone who is just attacking celebrities on social media, you're obviously not a stable person. So, again, I have the ability to help you. I am a man who, at this point, I'm trying to help myself develop a field that I truly feel needs to be developed. And there are people like me. We are called quantum computers who are trying to help you, classical computing minds of today, upgrade your encoded language to be compatible with the non-binary world that's going to be called the quantum age, that you guys are going to absolutely be left behind by if you continue to just confuse speaking without any rational intention behind it and just blabbing to save face is only setting up for failure. You cannot make your carrot on the stick to defend your legacy. You have to continue to exemplify who you are, and you are failing at that, sir. And this is why, again, when you exaggerated $250, I will charge you $225 an hour. And I do this not because I want to, but really because I have to gain recognition and the acknowledgement I need from my father and my peers as credible or whatever. I don't want to be discarded just like you. So I hope that that's kind of an open invitation that I am here to help us, help each other, help the world talk about the Bible, essentially. And you are a great person, I feel, in this world who can help us do that when this world comes. So again, I leave this language very cryptic just to, again, see how you react. And this is how I will base my objective analysis of this case over the course of this week. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me directly through the information posted in the description of this video, or just know that I'm watching and I will be trying to help both sides come to a peaceful resolution and hopefully be recognized for being that bridge maker. With that said, I wish you all well and hope this video leads to a better path towards a peaceful and more prosperous resolution.